Hello everyone, this is EpicNerd7 here, and today I am going to be showing you how this 60 by 60 door works. I had a lot of fun making the video, doing all the cinematic stuff and how it opening. I love these shots right here. I love the cool wave action of how it opens and closes. But anyway, I'm here to show you all how it works. So right now it is currently open. These there are triple slime block extenders on this side and double slime block extenders on this side because you only need to retract twice, and these both put the blocks and the sticky pistons. Now, originally when I was making this, getting the stuff into position wasn't all that hard. Powering it, however, was very hard because you had to power it from these sides because the door was going to be going right through the middle here, and to power it, it's just you would have to have another Jeb style thing with redstone blocks and slime blocks, and then to power that you would have to have another one and another one. It would just repeat on. It wouldn't get you anywhere. So I did some thinking, and then I thought of this vertical slime block elevator. And this thing is pretty darn cool. It's like the first train elevator of its kind. It's not the first vertical one. There have been plenty of those, so I can't take all the credit for the engine right here, but all this stuff, it's just pretty cool, and it creates a cool pattern when I'm opening it up. So when I press the button, okay, this button is going into this monostable circuit, and this is coming from the button on the other side. So the buttons both go into this monostable circuit, into these 2T flip-flops. And these 2T flip-flops are always at different states at different times. For the closing, we need to take this one off so it won't do anything, and then it will activate this, which will then activate this 2-tick monostable circuit, which will then open this door on both sides. Every time this 2-tick monostable circuit is activated, it will open or close. So it comes over here and goes through this. This basically sends an inversion pulse down through the torches on both up and down. It doesn't matter because it does it both sides. It doesn't really matter because it isn't there, so I wouldn't want to get through the trouble. But anyway, each torch is inverted 5 ticks after the other because that is the minimum tick delay that you can have to update the pistons before engaging the engine. So these torches are all strategically placed to update these pistons from bottom to the top. So when the torches invert, they will update the pistons and it will push down. And then this will update that piston, and then finally 5 ticks later this redstone dust will update that piston, causing the vertical flying machine to fly down, depowering this Jeb door. Now when it gets all the way to the bottom, see that the redstone block right there, it is going to power this repeater right here, which is going to push it into its different position for vertical flying, or the upwards flying. It is also going to send a signal out this way, which has a lot of delay to it because the slime block flying machine needs to recompress, and then it goes up this torch tower, and the signal goes all the way up. And I have a similar mechanism up top, and it goes here and it triggers this. It goes up into that. What it does is it closes off this circuit right here, and it also sends a signal because this redstone block won't be there. It also sends a signal to over here, which powering that in turn powers the entire door and sends it over because the door is open. When it depowers this circuit right there, this powered circuit is powering the Jeb doors, the massive slime block Jeb door right here. So once the vertical slime block flying machine with the redstone blocks are all the way down, then the door is ready to open, and it stops this, and both sides retract, and it also starts up this one. And when that happens, see, right now it's extended right now, but it would be retracted. I have this mechanism set up on all of these, vertical and downward, because sometimes the piston can, like, leave the slime block out. I've had this happen a few times before. The sticky piston will retract, but it won't pull the slime block back down on any one of these pistons, which that would be a problem. So I added this little extender thing. It only affects the retraction. So once it all gets up here, it powers this, which powers these two monostable circuits. And that one goes straight into the circuitry. This one powers the T flip-flop. And so what it does is that, well, the next time that this is powered, it will retract the redstone block, so none of that happens. That's the opening activation mechanism with the water stream, so I'm not going to get into that right now. But this torch depowers, which causes all these all these sticky pistons with redstone blocks retract at the exact same time. And all the pistons and redstone dust on this side, when they retract for like 2 ticks, they will activate the redstone dust, and all of these sticky pistons will retract, disabling this engine so that it can actually fly, and then it inverts all these torches 5 ticks different from each other, and it updates every single piston. And I did a pretty good cinematic thing of that. And when it comes over here, it goes down and it inverts this torch. It also powers this redstone dust, which powers the piston. So this torch inverts and the piston extends at the exact same time, which enables the back engine, and then the engines are all engaged and the door closes. So now that I've explained everything that's going to happen, why don't you look for that when I press the button? So, because it all happens pretty fast. So, this changes, the torches invert, and it goes all the way up, and then it engages the engine. I love this engine. The only sticky piston is like right there. So as it's going down, it creates this cool looking pattern, and how you can see it going down. It's about halfway, and the same thing is happening on the other side too. I had like a connection circuit. It's actually underground. In fact, I'll show you it right now. In this 2-tick monostable circuit, this repeater goes over here, and that is the activation circuit for the other side. It doesn't matter about the extension repeater, so this all retracts. It's all pretty cool. And then that's disabled, and then it comes out. Get back time cease. Yep, I just saw it. So piston pushed the block, and now the engines are engaged. Basically, the way how this works is that the piston pushes it, and then it causes this piston to activate, which causes a block update to the sticky piston, so it retracts and grabs the piston and pushes it forward another block. And this is like the standard flying machine for like slime block flying machines. So as it's going in, it's closing, it produces this whole cool wave action thing you can see going across. And the reason why I have glass is because it's a kind of seamless door. I have to have glass. And once this iron blocks gets there, then the door recompresses itself in the closed position. And it's all just, it'll take a little while to render, because everything is dormant now. It should engage long range render. See, there it is. And okay, it's cleared up. Clear up that side? Okay. But one thing I forgot to tell you about what was happening is that to enable these engines right here, once this redstone block got right here, it powered this redstone dust, which in turn powered this entire thing, which activated all these pistons, and it didn't matter if they all extended at the same time or not, but they all pushed the redstone blocks into the engine active position. And when it did that, this redstone block is there, it's powering this, and this is a butted piston that engages a circuit that opens up holes in the ground to collect the water. So the next thing that's going to happen is the door is going to fly. It's going to retract this redstone block off this 2-tick monostable circuit, so nothing's going to happen with the huge massive Jeb door thing right here. This is going to extend, which is going to come up here. I already told you all that. And so it's going to come up here, and it actually is going to activate the closing circuitry right here, but the door's not going to be there when that happens, so it doesn't really matter. But then again, if you wanted to reduce lag levels, you could put a T flip-flop on this side as well. Just make sure it's in the opposite state of this one. So when this is activated, it's going to put the redstone block over here, which is going to go into this 2-tick monostable circuit, and it is going to create a pulse right here, and that pulse is going to go across. And as you see over here, the pulse also goes around here, and so it basically creates 2 pulses that go across. And the reason why I have so much delay right here is because this dispenser, which dispenses water, is a lot higher than this dispenser. And so the water's going to take more time to get down, so that's why you have more delay here. So as these 2 ticks are going across, activating and deactivating the water streams, the way we operate these things, the pistons that make the little mini Jeb doors. I love Jeb doors. You'd be surprised at how many Jeb doors I have on this design. But it like retracts this piston, retracts the block. These 2 sticky pistons retract it. And I have a 2-tick repeater right there to separate it. But it goes into this continuous circuit that inverts the torch, which depowers all these, opening up holes just enough time for the water to get out of there. And then, after the signal works its way through these full delay repeaters, this piston extends, closing off the circuit, and then in turn repowering all of these. So it's only open when water is coming out. That's the unique thing. So the 2 pulses go across these dispensers, activating all these water buckets, and these water buckets update the pistons because of the bud powered pistons and the redstone blocks. That's kind of how we get the door moving. And so it goes across here, it activates this dispenser, and then we have a whole lot of delay for this dispenser because it's lower than that one. And then this one activates. So, however, to keep the water from flooding the floor, or more importantly, flooding the redstone dust, I strategically placed catching pools. So the water's going to come down, it's going to get contained there. Water's going to come down here. There's a little trough, right? A little catching pool down there. See it? There it is. And the next one, the water will come down, and it is going to get caught in this pool. But we have to have the floor flat. So when that redstone block, that T flip-flop up there, remember that? It is also going to activate this downward thing that's going to transmit the signal. Again, I have that 2-tick extending action going on. So it's actually going to... I love this thing. It basically sends a signal using slime blocks down through a bunch of redstone stuff. So it's going to activate this redstone dust. It's going to come across, and there's going to be a signal sort of keeper such, and it's going to invert this torch, which is going to depower all these pistons, which is going to open up holes for the water to come down. Now when it is finished, as I mentioned before, the redstone block, once the redstone block leaves here, and the water will come down right here, but once the redstone block leaves here, which means that all the water has come down, then this redstone will depower, block updating this piston, causing a pulse. Like, let me get a block updater and update this thing. As you saw, it produced a pulse, which comes down here and activates this redstone line. Actually, I don't know why I have it down there. I could just put it like right there, you know. But anyway, it is what it is. And so it comes over here and it goes straight down underground right here and deactivates this and activates all these pistons, making the floor flush. And you saw it cool in spectator mode, you know that. So, and how we're going to disable this engine is the same circuitry. Actually, you know how I said before about how you can actually put a T flip-flop on this one? On this one to reduce lag? Actually don't, because that is what is going to disable these engines, because the engine disabling is done remarkably in the exact same place for both states of the door. So we use this to deactivate. It doesn't matter for all those, but don't put a T flip-flop there, as I said before again. So now that you know what is going to happen, let's go ahead and activate this button. And I'll try to fly up as quick as possible. Let me get ready and press it. So, engine's disabled, the water's coming down, and it is updating the pistons. Don't worry, that water will not flood any redstone. Let me try to get across. Where's the pulse? Where's the pulse? There's the pulse. The two ticks are going across. They're activating both of those things. And the holes, the holes are open on those other sides. I was on the wrong side. So this is engaging all these engines. Once it does that, it's going to update that piston, and those holes are going to close. And as you can see, you can watch this cool diagonal wave effect going down, as I did in the cool cinematic showcase. And a little graphical rendering. Once the door stops, it should engage long-range render and fix it. But if you still see that, you're just going to have to trust it. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. Once it gets over here, it's almost going to happen. That redstone block is going to power this dust, which is going to engage the Jeb door that makes it kind of seamless. So let's go down. As you saw, the pulse is going right there. It's coming across. And the door closed and it's already activating. I love this thing because it's a near miss between this thing. The Jeb door activates when this is right there. Then the flying machine comes like within one. The upwards flying machine comes like within one block of this piston as it's moving across. That's like perfect timing. So it's moving up, and the same thing is happening on the other side too. You just have this rendering stuff issues. This door would be a whole lot better if there wasn't rendering issues with Minecraft. And this obsidian here is just decorative. Only that obsidian is needed. And the flying machine is coming up, is powering all these. And the reason why I had that, you saw the double piston extender retract. The reason why I had that is because I had problems where how we changed the redstone blocks. You see, in order to make this vertical flying machine fly the other direction, we need to change all the redstone blocks on this entire thing, unlike this horizontal one. That's why horizontal ones are very easy. But I was having problems because this redstone block actually causes a block update to this piston, and because it's being powered, it actually pushes down. So I was having this thing go down 2 blocks when this one started engaging. And these 2 redstone blocks right here were 2 blocks away from each other, which means we have one retracted piston that just wasn't even with any of these, and of course I'm gonna admit it. You're just gonna be like, oh my gosh, one retracted piston, oh, and one wrong piston. It's like it's not good. It's not good for any of these things. It's like that's sarcasm about how I have tons of pistons and just one of them being faulty is not gonna be enough. But as a redstoner, but you see, it's on the outside finished product, you know, here, and it's just not even. Imagine if you just like had one of these retracted. That's not gonna look good. And so I have this thing over here that creates a long pulse. It goes over here, and these blocks goes in this slime block, which causes this piston to exceed the 12 block push limit, and it is not going to come down, and then it just retracts. So that's it. That is the entire stone block design. And if you're wondering how these cool triple slime block extenders work, that is because in the depowering thing, I can't really explain now because they're all, you know, they're all extended. But when it turns off, this one will turn off first, and this one will turn off, then this will turn off, pulling this thing 3 blocks back, and it's super cool. You should build one in your world and test it out. But for the extension, yes, this one will power, these two will power before that one, and nothing will happen until this bottom piston is powered, but it will extend right out. So that is basically how this thing works, and I have some more cool redstone in the future in store, such as a door inside a door, but don't worry, it's nothing as crazy as this. I mean, this was pretty crazy. This thing was pretty crazy. It took me like 2.5 weeks, seriously. Like the first week was developing it in sort of like its alpha stages. And then the next week and a half was like beta testing it. Like beta testing it, and like I had this button thing, but not everything worked. And in the book for the world download, I say, warning, do not alter this one bit. One redstone dust can lead to cataclysmic results. And trust me on this, that is true. I have tested this thing for a week and a half. I have had multiple cataclysmic failures, usually resulting in the loss of one redstone dust repeater torch or whatever thing. It was so frustrated. Like, a silly mistake can cause huge problems. Basically, a lot of times what happened is that the worst case scenario is either on this side or that side. It will basically run into something that's not supposed to normally be there, such as this vertical flying machine, which usually didn't really matter because all the pistons were all in the same lateral block, so I could all update them with quick water streams, that the ones that are so quick that they don't spread once they touch the ground. But whenever it goes into this back of this Jeb door, when it's like retracted, because the vertical flying machine isn't there, and so this is all retracted, and so it can push retracted pistons. I get a bunch of bulging on this side. It basically stops and distracts. Everything gets messed up, and I have to manually flint and steel every single piston to get it back. I did that like 5 times. It was bad. It was very bad. I had to manually flint and steel. Can you imagine that? Like, just like activating this thing hundreds of times on like the same piston. Okay, I'm gonna stop ranting now. So this is a pretty cool design, and if you're a redstoner, then I hope you benefited from this knowledge. If you're not into redstone and you're like, what? Then I hope I made sense. This thing is pretty cool, And this has been Epic Nerd, and this is my 60 by 60 door. You should check out the world download. I'll put it in the description. And goodbye.